Greetings and welcome to Tryhard Mode. In this video, we will show you how we created a complete city with traffic, pedestrians and characters in just 1 week. All of this coming up next. The reason we started this project was to participate in the Brackeys GameJam 2020.2, which revealed on Saturday the 1st of August at 5 AM its theme of Rewind, and that had as a deadline the Saturday the 8th at 5 AM of our time zone. With this theme, we choose to create a 3D top-down shooter in which you will control a detective seeking to solve the mysterious death of his partner, exploring the city and looking for clues using as a main resource recordings left by the deceased before getting murdered. The twist with which we will use the Rewind theme will be that this being an indecisive and half useless detective will be unable to carry out basic actions such as running, jumping, shooting or punching unless his partner tells him to do so. So in addition to leaving clues in these recordings about the culprits and the location of the next cassette, his partner took special care on including commands to jump, flee or fight, depending on the difficulties our character will face within each challenge. And we as players, apart from moving the character, will also need to rewind and change cassettes constantly, trying to synchronize the recorder commands to clear the threats on screen, and thus compensate for the ineptitude of our detective and solve the mystery. Of course, we knew that this being our second GameJam and having little experience with the mechanics we wanted to incorporate, as well as the magnitude of the project, that this could prove to be inconveniently ambitious. But we faced this challenge with the mentality of taking advantage of the sense of urgency of the GameJam to push ourselves and experiment new ideas and mechanics. I dedicated the first day to create modules of apartment buildings, commercial stores, roads, vegetation, and urban furniture that we could duplicate and combine to create diversity and a noir setting of a 50s black and white detective movie. Being the space design and 3D modeling one of our strengths, we seek to highlight these elements and give a greater visual appeal to the project. The first day we finished the models of the apartment and commercial areas, as well as most of the urban furniture, although we still wanted to include a park, industrial area and construction site to experience in different scenarios the mechanics of the game with different difficulty levels. Ellie for her part finished with the main character's model and then started working on the animations. The second day, I started by including some variations of commercial stores. Unfortunately, at the end of the day, I turned off the computer without stopping the recording in OBS, and almost 12 GB of video got corrupted and we thought lost. Fortunately, we found a tutorial that allows us to recover the video, which we will include in the description. While the audio from the file was lost and DaVinci rendered many errors and was constantly lagging, we managed to rescue enough content to be able to document the progress. We conclude the second day with the general layout of the city in order, as well as the general plan of the park, and most of the animations that we will recycle with the rest of the NPCs and enemies. On the third day, we made sure to include unique design elements and furniture to the park and industrial areas to make a clear distinction between them. Small variations like these make the exploration more entertaining and make it easier for the players to find their way around. Ellie on her side began to make variations of the main character to incorporate thieves and cops into the game. The fourth day, I worked in the final area of the city, which will be the construction site, and where we had planned will be the last challenge of the game, and the most difficult. So we incorporated new vertical elements, obstacles, and alternative routes to allow the player to take advantage of the tools and mechanics he had gathered along the way. This is how the construction site turned out, and after that I started working on cars to make sure the city felt alive and also as additional obstacles. Due to the setting, we created all the textures in black and white, but we left in color a few important elements, such as the main character, bullets and lights, for the police cars and ambulances. They also created some pedestrians to give the city more movement, and they could use the same movement code as the cars, only with different speed values and without the damage in collision code. Also on the day 4, Ellie started working on the player's control code. I dedicated most of the 5th day to fix the UVs and textures of the models, and to configure the scene in Unity to start integrating all the components. Ellie worked on the mechanics, we will trigger with the cassettes, leaving all the methods public so we could call them later from the controller in the recorder. I started the 6th day by working a little more on the game setting, and then started working on the UI that will give the player the feedback needed to control their character. At the same time, it introduced the last details to the main character and worked on the enemy's code to implement melee combat and with firearms. On the 7th day, as we were assembling the different elements of the game, we really started to enjoy the way they were bringing the project together. But at the same time, we were beginning to realize that there were still too many missing elements to be able to carry a complete game, especially in regards to the code, because working with mechanics that we haven't dealt with before really took us too long to get the progress we expected. With only 8 hours remaining to the deadline, we came to the conclusion that we will not be able to upload the game in a state that will leave us satisfied. Added to that the tiredness that we dragged down through this intensive week, we chose to withdraw from the GameJam, relax the rest of the weekend, and resume the project after documenting the process to YouTube and regaining some sanity. Now, after editing around 150 gigabytes of recording and attending to some stuff we had postponed, we are now about to restart the project that we left pending. And while it is a pity we couldn't manage to upload the project and share it with the community, The purpose with which we join these events is to experience new ideas, find weakness in our process, and face new challenges. Taking this into account, we are very grateful to participate in this game jam, and we will be looking for other interesting events in the future. That will be all for our part. We thank you very much for staying with us until the end of the video. If you're interested in our content, we invite you to like and subscribe. And just to wish you as always to have an excellent week and a lot of success in your projects.